Awaken Light Audio. Awaken your mind. Ignite your light.
Prove them wrong. Rise when they expect you to break. What if the people who doubt you most are actually handing you the blueprint to greatness? What if every "you can't" is really just a quiet invitation to become unstoppable? And what if the most powerful thing you ever do in this life is prove them wrong without ever needing to say a word? They said you couldn't. Now watch. Have you ever felt that quiet fire inside you, that hunger, that vision, that raw, relentless belief in what you're capable of, only to hear a voice from the outside say, you'll never do that? Maybe it came from a stranger. Maybe it came from a friend. Maybe it came from someone you love. Or worse, maybe it came from you. When you dare to dream, expect resistance. When you aim higher than most, expect criticism. When you step into your own potential, expect people to shrink you down because they're too afraid to rise up with you. But here's the truth. Their doubts are not your limits. Their fears are not your destiny. Their disbelief is not your definition. They don't need to believe you do. Some people, even the ones closest to you, will not see what you see. They'll remind you of your past. They'll highlight your flaws. They'll question your timing, your goals, your confidence. But they don't feel the hunger in your gut. They don't lie awake at night imagining what could be. They don't know what it costs you every day to show up, grind, and build something no one else believes in. And you know what? They don't need to. This dream wasn't given to them, it was given to you. So when they say, "You'll never make it," you say, "Watch me." When they laugh, you keep working. When they stop believing, you double down on yourself. Let their doubt become your fuel. This isn't about proving them wrong out of spite, it's about proving yourself right out of purpose. It's not about making noise, it's about making moves. It's about letting your results speak volumes, even when they expected silence. And when you finally get there, when your work turns into wins, your sacrifice into success, your pain into purpose, you won't need revenge. You won't need applause. You'll just need a mirror to see the person who never gave up. Part 1. The doubters don't define you. Your actions do. You will be doubted. Let's start there. Not because you're weak, but because you're visible, because you dared to want more, because you're trying when others gave up, because your vision threatens the comfort of those who never chased theirs. And yes, it will hurt. It will sting when people who should have clapped for you choose to criticize. Instead, when your effort is ignored, when your setbacks are laughed at, when your potential is met with rolled eyes. But here's where you take back your power. Their doubt only has power if you stop moving. Doubt is not a sentence, it's a test. It's easy to be motivated when everyone believes in you. About when no one does, will you still show up early? Will you still put in the reps? Will you still take the next step, even when the room is silent? That's where greatness is born. Not in praise, but in pressure. Because every time they say, "You can't," and you keep going, you're not just proving them wrong, you're proving something bigger, that your actions speak louder than their opinions. Use their doubt as data, not a definition. When someone doubts you, don't spiral. Study it. Ask, are they projecting their limits onto me? Do they have the results I want? Am I letting their fear override my focus? Their voice may be loud, but your vision is louder. And at the end of the day, you won't be remembered for who doubted you. You'll be remembered for what you did anyway. Your identity isn't built in reaction, it's built in repetition. You don't prove them wrong by shouting. You prove them wrong by outlasting, by doing it again and again and again, until your consistency turns into credibility, until the very people who once questioned you start quoting you. Your doubts can't hold me. Your silence won't stop me. I build quietly. I rise consistently. And one day you'll realize the fire you mocked became the torch I carried to the top. Part 2. Don't react. Rebuild. They expect you to snap, to lash out, to fall apart when things don't go your way. They want to see you sweat, to shrink, to quit. Why? Because it confirms their belief. You're not built for this. But here's where you surprise them. You don't react, you rebuild. Emotion is valid, but direction is power. Yes, you'll feel the fire, the anger, the insult, the unfairness of being underestimated again and again. But here's what separates those who rise from those who burn out. They feel deeply, but act intentionally. They don't waste energy proving they're right. They use that energy to build something undeniable. When they try to tear you down, lay a brick. One insult, lay a brick. One rejection, lay a brick. One failure, lay another brick. Day after day, hour by hour, brick by brick. You build the life, they said, you couldn't have. You don't need to shout back, you just need to outlast their noise with your discipline. The goal isn't revenge, it's reinvention. You're not here to impress them, you're here to outgrow the need to impress them. The win isn't just the achievement, it's the becoming. It's who you become when you choose purpose over pettiness, focus over frustration, vision over vengeance. Let them underestimate you. You'll use their doubt as fuel, and when they come back one day, confused, amazed, trying to reconnect, you'll greet them kindly and keep building. When you feel triggered, pause and ask, what would rebuilding look like right now? How can I use this as proof of progress, not proof of pain? What would a future version of me do here? Then, do that. That's your next brick. Tell yourself, I don't waste energy explaining myself. I convert my setbacks into structure. I turn doubt into design. I don't react. I rebuild. Part 3. Let your results do the talking. The loudest people aren't always the strongest. The ones who flex the most often fall the fastest. But the ones who move in silence, who grind in the dark, grow in the shadows, and show up with consistency. They don't need to speak, their results do it for them. You don't owe anyone an explanation. They laughed when you started. They dismissed your ideas. They counted you out. Before you even stepped into the race, you could have argued. You could have posted. You could have tried to prove yourself with words. But deep down, you knew your work will speak louder than your voice ever could, because people can doubt your words, but they can't argue with your results. Results are the most humble. Revenge, not revenge in the petty sense, but revenge in the elevated sense. Stay quiet and get stronger. You stay focused and get better. You keep building while they keep talking. And one day, they look up and realize the person they ignored is the one who created everything they now admire. That's the sweetest silence, not to destroy them, but to elevate yourself so high they can't touch you. Focus on the metrics that matter, not likes, not noise, not public applause. Focus on mastery, progress, alignment, real impact, quiet consistency, because vanity fades. But value remains. And value is built in solitude, in repetition, in the unseen. Thankless hours no one claps, for be so good, they have to rethink. You don't have to post about it. You don't have to perform. You just have to keep becoming the person they said you'd never be. And when the results come, let them stare. Let them sit with their doubts. Let them feel the gap between who they thought you were and who you actually are now. Remember, I don't chase approval, I chase mastery. I let my work echo long after their words have faded. My silence is not weakness, it's strategy. I let my results speak volumes. Part 4. They expect you to break, you rise. Instead, they saw the pressure you were under. They saw the setbacks pile up. They saw the fatigue in your eyes, and they whispered to each other, it's only a matter of time before they give up. They expected the fall, they counted on it, because watching you break would make them feel better about never trying. But what they didn't count on was what happened next. You rose. You didn't break. You bent and rebuilt. Yes, you stumbled. Yes, you doubted. Yes, You had nights when you wanted to throw it all away, but you didn't. You adapted. You evolved. You turned pain into fuel, resistance into rhythm. You didn't collapse. You recalibrated. And when they thought the story was over, you turned the page. They watch you work. They're still watching, still doubting, still waiting for you to crack. But now, you walk quieter, you move smarter, you carry yourself with a calm they can't understand, because it's not. And that's more dangerous than any momentum. Your strength was forged in the fire. Real strength isn't what you show when everything is going right. It's what surfaces when everything goes wrong. And you've bled behind the curtain. You've healed without applause. You've stood up for yourself when no one else did. You've kept walking when it would have been easier to stay down. They expected the breakdown, but you gave them the breakthrough. Into who you're becoming. Ask yourself, who am I choosing to be in this storm? What if this pressure is actually building the next version of me? How can I make peace with rising, even if no one claps? And then, rise anyway. Not for revenge, not for noise, but for you. You expected me to break, but I bent and became stronger. You saw my fall, but not my rise. And by the time you realize what I've become, I'll already be out of reach. Part 5. Rise quietly. Build loud results. You just don't need fireworks. You don't need to go viral. You don't need to shout from rooftops that you're coming. Why? Because real power doesn't announce itself. It just arrives and changes the atmosphere. You don't rise to be seen. You rise because you've grown past staying down. And that alone makes noise. They can't dismiss what you've built. Let them keep talking. Let them keep doubting. Let them keep misjudging your silence as softness while they talk. You execute while they gossip. You grow. While they seek validation, you seek mastery. And when the dust settles, your results will stand taller than their opinions ever did. This isn't need credit. You need clarity. You're no longer chasing applause. You're chasing alignment, and that shift changes everything. Because you've realized you don't need the room to hear your voice. You need the world to feel your impact, and they will. Legacy is built in silence. Real empires aren't built in noise. They're built in quiet moments. When you choose the workout instead of the excuse. When you study while others scroll. When you rest on purpose, not out of burnout. When you double down while they give up, each silent moment stacks, and one day, everything you built in private will explode into a public reality they never saw coming. Remember that. I no longer need to shout, my work speaks. My results roar. I build in silence. I rise with discipline. And by the time they hear me, I'll already be standing where they said I couldn't. Final message, prove them wrong. This was never about revenge. It was about revelation. Not about them, but about you. You fall. You rise. You break. You rebuild. You're doubted. You deliver. You're mocked. You master it. They expected your failure instead. They watched you forge your future. Prove them wrong, not by yelling, but by becoming someone too powerful to ignore.
Thank you for spending this moment with Awaken Light Audio. If something today touched your heart or opened your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you most? Tell us about your journey, your questions. Send it their way, because light grows when it's shared. Until next time, stay present, stay awakened, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.